You should be able to record.
Awesome. Just turn on the recording.
Good. All right, we are not going to waste our time. It's already 4 minutes after 9. Our session is usually straight to the point, 1 hour, and that is what it is. So we are going to start, and others will meet us as we go along. We want to say welcome to everybody that is here present. Dr. Joan is here from US, and we have Adrian, and you can see his baseball. He's a busy man with his sports there, so we might not see his face, and but we are recording this so that all other members of this group will be able to have access after the program. I'm going to quickly welcome our guest, our sister, our dancer, our princess, and I will just let you know that she's got so many names. She is Princess Abimbola Sarah Odunlade Anike as well. Anike is one of the names. So beautiful names. You see, Yoruba do have so many names. She is a native of Ile-Ife. She started her primary school education at St. Peter's Anglican Primary School at Ile-Ife, secondary school education at Government Girls Sarah School, Kankia in Castina State. University education was at Ahmadu Bello University in Zaria, Kaduna State. And she also had master's degree from the University of Benin in Nigeria, UNIBEN. She was a lecturer at Osun State College of Education in Laorogun, Osun State, before relocating to the United States of America. She has attended and presented various papers and seminars and workshops at conferences, both locally, nationally, and internationally. She's currently an healthcare provider, and she also do online Yoruba presentations. You would have seen some of her clips on YouTube, and today we have invited her to come and tell us about Ori. We just want to explore this in this class today. What is Ori? And from Yoruba culture, we do see that a lot of time we protect our head. We don't want people to touch our head. We don't want people to put things over our head. And watch out for especially Yorubas, when you see them and you see somebody standing on top of their head or putting hand there, you will see them, they will try to move away from that. Why? Why do we do all these things? And also we protect our children as well, because we don't want anybody to put their hands on their head. Why do we do this? Why do we protect our head? Today, our princess will take us through why we do all that, why we protect our head, and what is the importance of Ori, our head. Over to you, Ma. Thank you and welcome.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the privilege that is given to me for this great presentation. I want to say a very big thank you to our anchor lady, Mrs. Abosede Adetifa, that I usually call Iya Agba, because of her the Yoruba stuff that she normally do on Facebook, and we just discover ourselves and we see that we have things in common. And just like she said, I have a passion for that language than any other language. So without wasting much of our time, I will quickly go and do justice to the topic. So the first question is different interpretation of the word Ori in Yoruba tradition. Now, Ori means head in Yoruba language. And literally, the Yoruba believe that Ori, which is the head, it means one's spiritual intuition or destiny. We have so much belief in Ori or the head that we try as much as possible to protect our head than any parts of our body. And if you all believe, or if you are all together with me, you believe that even from the inception, when God created us, when we are coming to this earth, we came out through the first part of our body that usually come out when we are being given birth to is the head. Unless there are some special cases where the baby will come out probably with the leg or with the hand, but that is not, it's not common. But as God has done it, the head usually comes out first to tell you how important the head is to every creature. Now, the Yoruba religion believe that human being, with your head, you are able to heal yourself both spiritually, physically, and the Yoruba also believe that this our head is like a deity that we need to continue to protect or to even worship, because it has a lot of things to do with our being as an individual. Now, why is Ori or the head considered to be the most important part of the body according to the Yoruba tradition? If you look critically, most of our senses, the most sensitive senses of our body is anchored by the head. Talk about the eyes, talk about the ear, talk about the nose, and some other parts of our body is being positioned on our head. That is to show us how important the head is in Yoruba tradition. Like I said, the head houses the most essential parts that coordinate human activities. The eyes we use in seeing, the ears we use in hearing, our mouths for talking, the nose, those are the sensory organs. Every of these sensory organs are being positioned on our head. That is one of the reasons why the head is so important. Ori also means our destiny. Like I said, it is also refers to as a deity, which the Yoruba call Orisha on its own, because we take care of the head just the way we worship the Orisha. That's why when some people, when they want to, say something about Ori or the head, they give so much importance to it than any other part of our body. And there's a Yoruba word that says Ori laba ma abo abafi orisha sile, which means we are supposed to worship our head and leave the deities. So that is to tell you that our head is also a deity on its own. Now, Ori is generally categorized into 3 different modes or 3 different types, according to a gentleman named called Lawal in 1985. Lawal categorized head into 3: the external, that is the physical head, the inner or the spiritual, and then the abstract. So it is categorized into three: the physical head, the inner head or the spiritual one, and the abstract head. In Yoruba, they call it Ori Ode, that's the physical head. Ori Inu, that's the inner or the spiritual head. And the abstracts, they usually call it Okeikmori. Okeikmori, that's why sometimes our forefathers, when they want to tell some people, they will say Ikmorie. Ikmorie, that's the abstract head. Now, we want to talk about the importance of the head. Why is the head so important that the Yoruba tradition give a lot of care or attention to the head? Number one is that Ori, our Ori or the head, is regarded as an intermediary between every man and the divinity whom he worships. That is, they see our head as an intermediary between us and our creator, because whatever, the Yoruba believe that whatever you want to become in life has to do with your Ori. That is the way you hold your, wherever your head leads you to, that is where you are going to meet yourself. That is the Yoruba traditional belief. And they said it is alagata tabi alarino. Ori ni alagata tabi alarino. That's the head serves as an intermediary between us and our creator. Number two, our Ori, the Ori or the head, regulates our lives in conformity with the wishes of the divinities. So it is whatever your head permits you to do, or that your head allows you to do, that is what you are going to achieve in life. That is what the Yoruba tradition believes. Another one is that whatever your Ori do not want, nobody can force it on you. If you're about falling sick and you hold your head and you say, Ori mi, oh body aison, that's my Ori, you must not be unfortunate of sickness. That sickness will go away. That is a Yoruba tradition. We believe so much in that. Also, our head is very important because it is our individual personality. That is what defines us as an individual. And Ori is for individual. Everybody has his Ori, everybody has a head. So it now depends on how you make your own Ori to work. It depends on the work you want your own Ori to do for you. That is what your Ori will do for you. Also, Ori's duty, or our head, the duty of our head is to protect every one of us. We believe that it will lead us, our head will lead us to our destiny or to our destination. It is believed that if you see some people progressing, the Yoruba tradition believe that it is their Ori that makes them to achieve whatever they achieve. And if you see some people failing, they believe that probably maybe the Ori is not the one that is making them not to succeed. So they will say we have to worship or to idolize our head. Kabori wa, kiori wa, kole bewade ibire. That is according to the Yoruba tradition. And Ori is the only deity that follows his devotees to a distance journey. It is believed that any of the deities, be it Ogun, be it Obatala, be it Oya, be it Oshun, they will never follow their devotees to their final destination. It is only Ori that will follow you to your final destination. These arguments about Ori following his devotees to their final destination happens according to that young man I mentioned the other time, Lawal, in 1985, that there was some certain deities like Oshun, Oya, Obatala, Yemoja, that all these deities, they organize themselves. And Orunmila, which we all believe to be the all-knowing, ask a question that who among these deity can follow their devotees to their last destination. Yemoja said, after escorting his devotee to a certain place, she will go back. But out of all these deities, it is only Ori that says, no matter what, I will follow my devotees to their last destination, to tell you how important Ori is to Yorubas. And like I said, those deities, Shango, Oshun, Obatala, Ogun, and so on and so forth. Also, Babawande Abimbola, in his book, 16 Great Poems, that he wrote in 1975, also supported it that it is only Ori that will follow his devotees to their last destination. That is why our Ori is very, very important, that we need to take that we need to guide zealously wherever we are. Now, to the third point, that's why do parents prevent others from touching their children's head? This is the parents, they are very, very concerned when it comes to people placing hands on their children's head. Even we that we've grown up, we don't always want people to be touching our head, because we know that our head has to do with our destiny, and we don't want people to toy with our destiny in life. And another reason why parents don't want people to touch their children's head is that they believe whosoever that touches someone's head is taking away the person's glory. That is according to the Yoruba tradition. That's why parents, they guide it jealously. They don't want anybody to touch the head of their children. And that's why Yoruba believe that there are some heads that they are not meant to serve people. The Yoruba believe that some heads are not meant, or they are not created to serve under people. When such people serve under people, definitely they won't come out with anything reasonable out of such a venture, which means those people's head are meant to be on their own, or for other people to serve under them, and not them serving under people. And it is very common in Yoruba tradition, people always hold on to their head. Any small thing, you put your hand on your head and you say, Ori mi o gbodo buru, my head must not be unfortunate. I must not be unfortunate. So everything, virtually everything we are doing, we attach it to our heads. And that's why they said it is better for us to worship our head and forget about all these deities, because those deities, the deities, they cannot follow you anywhere. It is your head that will follow you wherever you are going, and that our head have almost every answers to any problem or any issues, any life issues that may come our way. Our head have answers to all this. So it means that we need to discover who we are. You need to know the kind of ori that you have. You need to know the kind of head that you have. Is it the head that is not meant to serve somebody? And through your head, when you know the kind of head you have, it will even lead you to the kind of job that you can do. That is the Yoruba belief, that there are some people, probably maybe they are supposed to be a teacher, but peradventure they don't know the kind of head they have. They went to do nursing. So by the time they now discover that, oh, I'm supposed to be a teacher, the best thing for them is to go back to that profession that their head is in support of than doing something else. I hope we are all getting the illustrations. Hello?
Yes, we are.
Yep.
Okay.
We are.
So, yes. So, which means that each and every one of us, we need to discover the type of head that we have. If your head is not meant to be serving people, it's better you are on your own. You start, probably maybe you become an entrepreneur so that people can be under you instead of you being under people. The Yoruba will say, àwọn orí kan wà tí kì í sin orí olórí, wọn kì í tẹríba fún ẹlòmíì. There are some head that don't serve other people. They don't belong, they don't bow down to people. It's not because they are proud, but because that is the kind of head they have. Then there are some head, especially this is common to women. There are some people that their ori created them to be a man. Though they are women, but their ori is meant to, their ori made them to be a man, to have the form of a man. So everything they do what men are doing. That is the way they are being created. So ori is very, very important than any part of the body. And that's why we need, the Yoruba traditions believe that whatever anyone is going to become in life has to do with our ori. So the 3 points that I've made, that is the literally meaning of ori. We have discussed that the Yoruba believe that human beings are able to heal themselves both spiritually, physically, by working with the Orisha. But don't forget, I told you that our Ori is also a deity, it's a Orisha on its own that we need to be worshiping. Though the worshiping, like, there are some people that they know how to do this thing better. Traditionally, they know what to use to bori or to worship the head better, which sometimes our religion at times may not permit us to be doing all those things. But the belief of Yoruba is that when something goes wrong, you have to bori, you have to worship your head. And that's why for some women, let's assume that you go to a salon. The Yoruba believe that anything that has to do with your head, you don't price it. When your hairstylist says the hair you are making, let's assume is $50, you cannot tell the person, can I pay $40? Because it has to do with your ori, that you don't price your ori with anything. So if you go to do your hair And the hairdresser now said, I'm getting $1,000 from you. The Yoruba believe that you have to pay it as far as it has to do with your destiny. And we've talked about why the Ori is important. To those that are just joining us, we've talked about why Ori is important, that it is considered the most important part of our body according to the Yoruba tradition, and that Ori means our destiny, and it is also called Orisha on its own. And I said we have 3 types of Ori. Is there anybody that can tell me the one of the parts of Ori that we have? I don't want to do the talking because we said it's a kind of tutorial.
Yes, it's meant to be interactive. So if people can just put in the chat box, what are the 3 types of Ori that has been mentioned today? So we've got 3 types. I remember Ori Inu. So
thank you so much. Yes.
Okay, people are really putting it in there.
Okay, I will go through it now and see. Okay, somebody said the physical. Yes, that's Oriode. Thank you. Yes. And another person said personality. I don't understand what the person means by personality anyway, but I'm even happy that you can say Orinu, Oriode. So what is the 3rd one? The 3rd one, is there anybody?
I'll put it in there. I remember it.
Okay, thank you so much, ma. So Iponri, yes, thank you so much, ma. That's the external one is called Oriode. Then the internal or the spiritual one is what we call the Orinu. And yes, Iponri, thank you. Somebody has said Iponri, yes. And that's why the Yoruba also, they normally said Ki ori inu wa koma bato deje. That should be able to tell us that this Orinu is like it's much more important than the Oriode itself, because you know, whatever our hearts think, as a man thinketh, so he is. So whatever we think in our hearts can affect our physical. If you are about falling sick, if you are thinking it in your heart that I want to fall sick, definitely it can happen. So that's why the Yoruba will say ki ori inu wa koma bati ode waje. So to tell us how important the Ori is. And we said it regulates our lives. So it means that all of us that are here, the Yoruba believe that where you are is where your Ori has led you to. So, and it is my prayer that our Ori will lead us to a good place. Our Ori will not lead us to a bad place that we will later regret in life. So I want people to ask questions.
Yeah, thank you,
so
Ma.
that I won't go beyond our time, because
Yes.
I'm time conscious.
Thank you so much. And that is what one good thing. There's nothing like African time. We have sort of trained ourselves that yes, we keep the time. I've given you that time of 30 minutes so that we can actually have opportunity to be able to discuss this.
Yes.
So thank you so much. Ẹ káàbọ̀ gbogbo ẹ̀yin tí ẹ wọlé. A dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ yín fún wíwá tí ẹ wá. Lónìí, à ń gbé ọ̀rọ̀ orí yẹ̀wò. Orí mi àpérè, kórí ó wọlé dè mí, kórí mi kó má burú. Àwọn àgbàdúrà tí a máa ń gbà ní ilẹ̀ Yorùbá nìyí. We pray with our head. Kí orí inú mi kó má bà tòde jẹ́. Our guest speaker has talked about that, the inner head and the external one. And Yoruba use it to pray that the internal one will not spoil the outside one for us.
Yeah.
So now it's time for us to ask questions from our princess. Princess Odunlade is here to listen and to also help us explore together. We are all exploring. What is even your understanding of Ori? How do you see your head compared to your body? We've got doctors in here as well. We've got Dr. John will be able to tell us as a doctor. And what is the head? Let's not go into Yoruba now. Let's talk about it generally. What is our understanding? Yeah, let's talk about it. What is the importance of our head? Eba wadasi oya. Dr. John.
We are waiting, Dr. John.
He must be far away. Any other person who has got idea? How do you, let's look at perspective. How do you see yourself? How do you see your head compared to your body? Let's talk in general terms at the moment.
Okay, so just to break the silence there, I guess seeing your head as the control center of your body rather than just another aspect. It is what controls your body as opposed to your heart or your stomach. You know, we may say that in English, but in reality, your heart and your stomach are just there. It's really your, head that controls those two things.
Thank you very much. It is the control house of the body. So everything in your body is controlled by that Ori, by the head. I've got Mr. Abimbola Odetayo putting up his hand. Please go ahead.
Hello, everyone. It's so good to be here, even though I'm just waking up.
Thank you for coming.
Since you said we could talk generally, I will take this from a spiritual point of view, and I'll talk from the perspective of a Christian. So we are taught that Jesus Christ is the head of the church. He directs the church, and the church is his body. So that kind of shines some light on the importance of the head. It's everything that the body does is the body takes direction and leadership from the head. And so the body is an integral part. And so the control, so to say, the control tower is the head, and that kind of shows how important the head is. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much. The head is very important. So we're all talking about the head. And look, we all see things from different perspectives. Our guest speaker has explained it from diverse area, from looking at it from the traditional aspect of things and also from the general aspect of things. And why do we do things or protect our head as Yorubas? And now we are throwing it open to every one of us. How do you see your head? Do you protect your head? How important? And we've got Mr. Odetayo explaining to us from the perspective of a Christian. And this is how he sees the head. And that shows the importance of that head. I've got Dr. Razak Balogun's hand up. Please go ahead.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Yes, I think I will also make a comment, but from a scientific or biological point of view. The head as a control center, as the life sense, because that's where the brain is housed. And as we all know, the brain and the nervous system, every reaction of the body, there's a signal that goes back to the brain. and the brain tells the body how to react. So when you touch something that is hot, for example, something that is prickly, it is the nervous system that sends that signal back to your brain, which is in your head. So it makes it a very important part of your body to protect it. Because once you lose that, then of course you lose everything else.
Right.
So, just looking at a biological point of view, it does make sense. So when Yoruba, when they are telling you to think, they are pointing to your head. You point that you got to think. so it is very, very important, and I wouldn't say fragile, but something you really, really need to protect.
Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. You see, it all shows from all points of view. The head is very important. It protects your brain from going on the street like a jelly bean. So the head protects the brain. It guides, it directs. So I've got people that really want to say something. I've got Dr. Razak, ṣé ẹ ṣì fẹ́ sọ̀rọ̀ sí ni àbí ọwọ́ tàtẹ̀ kan nìyẹn? Okay, all right. Paige, are you raising your hand? I've got Sister Shola there. Okay, I'll call Sister Shola first. Please go ahead.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
In my own view, Ori is like atokun. I don't know the English word for atokun here. Ori ni atokun fún gbogbo ẹ̀yà ara. It's like in a family setting where the father is the head of the family and, makes decision, helps in making decision for the whole family. Bẹ́ẹ̀ náà ni orí náà ṣe jẹ́ for the whole body, and also for someone's, even with destiny or creator, wá ní orí èèyàn ní ìṣẹ̀dá èèyàn. So that's one of the importance of Ori. When we want to make decision, we think, and where is our brain? Is in our head. So that's my own view. Eshe.
Thank you so much. Eshe Ganio, we really appreciate that. So wọ́n ní orí ni atọ́kùn fún gbogbo ẹ̀yà ara. That is Yoruba ló sọ bẹ́ẹ̀, orí ni atọ́kùn fún gbogbo ẹ̀yà ara. All this is also still pointing to the fact that the head is so important and you need to protect your head. Thank you, our guest speaker. I've got 2 hands up again. I've got Paige. Thank you, Paige.
Yes, I actually have a question in particular about the concept of Ori being in Orisha. Now, is it just one Orisha that's in everyone's head, or is it a different Orisha for each person?
Thank you so much, Ms. Paige. I love your question because it means you are following every lines of the tutorial. Now, we have different deities in Yoruba traditions. We have Ogun, we have Shango, we have Obatala, we have Yemoja, and all that. They are deities on their own. But what Yoruba is saying about Ori is that despite the fact that we have these deities, our Ori is considered to be more important than all these deities. Because if you do not take care of your head, the deities cannot protect it. You have to protect your head, It's just like when you are praying that God should protect you and you yourself, you are not protecting yourself. Definitely nothing is going to happen. And the Yoruba tradition believe that this our head, there is no anything that is above it. So it's a deity on its own. Do you get what I'm saying? It's just like, let me use this bottle as an example. This bottle, let's assume, is our Ori. what is applicable for this Ori is applicable to every Ori.
Oh, okay.
You understand? So it now depends on how you are able to take care of your own. If you are able to take care of it very well, you will reap the reward. There are some people, they don't care about their head. And that's why some people guide their own. That's why some parents don't want anybody to put hands on their children's head because they know the implication.
Thank you.
So it is one single Ori.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Paige, I hope you understand that. So you have to protect your head. In essence, the decision, the direction, the course of your life lies in your hands. So you have to make this decision. Yoruba will say, Taba bini amantura eni bini. If you are giving birth to, you need to rebirth yourself.
Right.
So you
and
need
there's a song in Yoruba, you may not understand, but I'm going to interpret it for you. They say, Ori la ba ma bo, Ori la ba ma bo, Eda iba ti ma shogun mo, Ori la ba ma bo, Eda iba ti ma shogun rara. So we don't need to do any juju or to do any charms. Once you know how to take care of your head, you'll be fine. And it's just like when somebody have an accident, if you don't have an head injury, you still become functional 100%. But once there is an head injury, then you know the person cannot function normally again.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I've got so many hands, our guest speaker, and I'm also time conscious. I've got 4 people there. I've got the president of Yoruba Association of Victoria in there, Mr. Charles Oguntade. Please go first, and then after that we have Adrian Medina.
Yeah, good morning, everyone, and I hope we're having a wonderful weekend. This is a very important topic, and it's quite interesting when we started talking about Yoruba and even the Yoruba language itself and its interpretation. We're talking about the head, and listening to everyone, we can just realize how it is so easy for us to interpret the head in a different, to explain it in a different form, in a biological form, in a family form, in a spiritual way, and even talking about the head as something that we could be interpreted as our destiny, you know. And when you come back and circle back again, it's all end up even almost a minute the same thing, and buttressing the importance of head. Like when we talk about health in a biological form, Dr. Balogun has rightly explained, head is one of it contains the most important organ of the body. If anything happens to whatever is in the head, if something gets wrong, some of us works in a mental health setting. If there is any disturbance in any of the organs, organs in the head or the chemistry in the head, that is a huge trouble. Yeah. If we talk about even in a family or even in our community, in leadership, we talk about the head, which will be the leader of a family or the leader of a community. If something goes wrong with the head, then there is a trouble. Even when we go into analyzing things and using a Yoruba analogy to drive our point home, they'll tell you that if a fish wants to go rotting, it starts from the head. And that is one huge part to describe what could go wrong if there is a disturbance with the head. And then we come back home and still talk about our destiny. We refer our head as our destiny. And that goes along with the song that our guest speaker have just rendered and how she's beautifully explaining. So thank you so much for bringing this up and using this point as a topic for discussion today. I appreciate you all. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. We have got Adrian. We'll go straight. We have 4 more people. Thank you so much. Dr. Teniola from Nigeria, we welcome you. Thank you for joining. Adrian.
Yeah, good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for this beautiful presentation. It's a topic that is very close to my heart, especially because our traditions, our Afro-Cuban traditions, especially the ones that we practice in Cuba, which is the Orisha Ifa. Ori is a very, very, very important date indeed. And kind of like trying to also give Paige a little bit of information about her questions. For us, Ori is all about decision making and consciousness. So everything that we do in life has a thought process. In Yoruba, in this case, Afro-Cuban Yoruba traditions, we try to align our Ori as much as we can. Because once we align our Ori, then we can clearly see what our pathways is. But again, once we take that pathway on that road of doing something that is beneficial for us in life, we have to do it with a clear conscience, pretty much with positive thoughts. So it is not a point for our tradition to have a balanced Ori with negative thoughts. That doesn't exist. So it's all about alignment. We also worship a deity that is called Ayala. And then perhaps the pronunciation is not correct in Yoruba because we have our dialect that is mixed with Spanish. But Ayala for us is the one that builds our head. So build our head, and then the head is chosen for us with a clear consciousness, which means that once we cannot choose a head that is not ours, and that makes perfect sense to what Princess is talking about. A head is given to us, but it's just a physical head. What we need to build and what we need to try to improve and cultivate is the consciousness of the physical head. So we pretty much work really hard on our physical consciousness, in our inner consciousness or inner thoughts, and in our decision making in terms of what we do. So. Even though when we initiated in the Yoruba religion or Orisha Ifa in Cuba, the first things we do for 3 days before any ceremonies are completed is just to refresh the head. Every single ceremony is dedicated to the head. So it is it is a very beautiful topic. And I guess for us, especially living in the times that we're living, we definitely should be putting more attention to our Ori because we are really living in tough times. So, yeah, thank you very much for the presentation. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Adrian. Thank you so much. The Ori is very important. The importance of Ori is the topic. And why do we as Yorubas protect our head? Mr. Matthew Adetifa.
Thank you so much. It's a very beautiful topic that we have been discussing today. And I appreciate the guest speaker for she's been able to explain it to us. I just have a question because you see, we've been out of Nigeria for a while. We have our children here, and we say that you have to protect your head. You don't want people touching your head. So what are the dangers? If somebody is in Nigeria, if you take your children to Nigeria now, and spiritually somebody is about to do something to them and wanting to touch their head, what are the risks? How does it work? Can you throw more light on the danger of getting touched in the head spiritually? Thank you.
Oh, our guest speaker, you are muted. Okay, I will unmute you. Oh,
I've done that.
Okay, thanks.
So thank you so much for the question that you asked. And I'm going to answer it spiritually. I'm not going to answer it traditionally this time around, though I will say a little about the tradition about it. Back in those days, our forefathers, when a child is being born, they will do what they call akosejaye. And when they do that akosejaye, there are some children that they will say, nobody should touch the head of that child. Some children, they will say they should not put any load on their head. That kind of child is a special child. And that is how those traditions continue to spread and spread. Now, let's come back spiritually. You know, these days, when you go to, I don't want to go to Christian something, but I just want to say this. Like when people lay hands on you, the spirit they have is being transferred to you spiritually. And you don't know the kind of spirit they carry. So by putting their hands on you, they are transferring part of the kind of their own, how do I put it? Their spirit into you. So if such people don't have a good spirit, it means you are going to inherit part of their negative spirit by putting their hands on you. I was in a marriage seminar some years ago where they said that if somebody that lay hands on you on your wedding, if that person is an adulterer, it means that spirit is going to be transferred to those couples. You understand? So that is why Yoruba, they believe that there are some people that have a kind of spirit, negative ones. Thereby, when they lay hands on, when they put hands on your head, they are going to transfer part of that negative influence of their life on that particular person. And that's why they try to protect the children's head. But we that we are in the diaspora, you know, most of these traditions, we tend to ignore them. We don't care. And it's just because we are not in our local or in our villages and all that. So we don't care whether it happens or not. But because we are talking about Yoruba traditions, that's why I dig into that the parents, they don't usually want people to put their hands on their children, believing that when they do that, they transfer part of their negative spirit into the child. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
You are muted. We can't hear you. You are muted.
I'm sorry. Thank you so
Okay.
much. Mr. Matthew, is that okay? Are you happy with that response?
Yes, yes. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right. I've got 2 hands up and our time is ticking. Mr. Odetayo, and after that page, before I say what I've got.
Thank you. So quickly, I've got things. Number one, without overemphasizing the importance of the head, we all know that also in management, you have the head of the department, the head of the unit, and head of state. And these are people who direct the affairs in terms of managing their units or managing their states and things like that. So it all still goes back to the fact that whoever is the head or whatever is the head is the crucial point in a particular place. And my question is, back to the Yoruba tradition now. There's this song that came to my mind, which is in terms of relating the head to a person's destiny. So my question for the presenter is, what is the relationship between the head and the destiny of the individual? Because when you look at that, it's not talking of physical head. There is a song that says "Oriti Momowaye Ori Owoni," you know. So when you look at it that way, it's not actually looking at the head as a physical head, but in terms of some other stuff. So I would like you to shed some light on that.
Thank you so much, sir. At the beginning of my lecture, I said that the Yoruba traditions, they believe that our head has to do with our destiny. That they believe that wherever you are, it is your head that has taken you to that place. And that our head has a lot to do with our destiny spiritually. That's the head is our intuition, is our adeda, is our asheda. And they also relate the head as an intermediary between us and our creator. That's between us and God. And that's why they believe that it's just like, let me just pick this, the story of Jabez in the Bible. You know, Jabez, the mother gave birth to Jabez as a bitter or a how do I put it?
Sorrowful.
That's a child, a sorrowful child. Thank you so much, ma. But when Jabez discovered that this is destiny, that has to do with the head. We are talking about head and destiny now. When Jabez realized that this is head, what is coming from it is not good. Jabez cried unto God that God should enlarge him, make his coast to be large and all that and all that and all that. And it was recorded that God did everything and changed his destiny. So the Yoruba also believe that your head has to do with your destiny. So some people, they may not have that ori to become rich. And you know, like every one of us cannot be rich. And there are some people, no matter how they struggle, they will not be rich. The Yoruba believe that that is their own head, because from creation, there is a potter that was with God. That was Ajala, Alamo, Tomori, Eda. That Ajala used to mold people's head. So it is what Ajala molded that everybody has today. But it now depends on you, how you are able to change that your ori to bring something that is positive to you. That's why they said the clay cannot query the potter what he has made. But at the same time, we can change our destiny for good. Maybe that's going to be another topic for another day.
It will definitely be. Thank you so much. I really love all those illustrations. And it is really fun that we are also going deep and coming back out as we look at things in the surface and then going deep and looking at the traditional, looking at the spiritual aspect of things and looking at it from different religious aspects as well. Fantastic. I've got two hands up again. All right, should we allow them to talk?
Let's allow them.
All right. So, Dr. Razak Balogun.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much once again, and thanks for the presenter. My question is actually related to the last statement of the presenter, which is heard from a spiritual point of view, but also heard from a physical point of view. She did say that, she made a comment that it might be a topic for next time, but I just wanted to ask, heard from a spiritual point of view or heard from a physical point of view, which one actually will you say has overwhelming control? Is it the spiritual side? What I mean by spiritual, I'm not talking religious here, you know. I'm talking just the fact that, like the previous person said, or something like that, you know, which means that somehow before you are even born, maybe you've been destined to be a rich person or this. But on the other hand, you are born, now you are an adult, you can think. You can, like you said, you can determine your own destiny as well. So which one comes? You know, which one is? I guess.
See,
yeah.
Like, thank you so much, sir. You see, we cannot do one without the other. the physical leads to the spiritual, and the spiritual leads to the third one. But the one that is more important is the spiritual, our spiritual being.
Yeah.
Our spiritual being is the most important one. Like I said earlier, you are what you think you are. You are what you think you are. Like, let me use myself as an example. I told you I was a lecturer. I have never become a lecturer when I have been seeing myself in that realm. Sometimes I will sit down, write an application letter to nowhere, applying for the position of a lecturer. I was just doing it just like a play. And the thing now transformed to physical. And that's why we need to guide our thoughts sometimes, because what you think later comes to play in your life. There are some people that their inner self has already condemned them, that they cannot be nobody. And so they keep living their life towards that line. But there are some people that their inner self, they told their inner self, I have to be successful. And they meet themselves where they are. So it is the spiritual side.
Thank you very much.
Sorry, Yasmin. So when they say destiny is in your hand, so
Yeah.
that means that inner
Yes.
you need
Yes, sir.
to settle your score with that spiritual head first before you
Yes,
start.
sir. And that's the power of positive thinking.
Thinking,
Yeah.
yeah.
Thank you very much. Ẹ ṣé o, orí inú wa kò ní bá ti ìta jẹ́.
Àmín.
Lónìí, a ti gbé oríṣiríṣi yẹ̀wò nípa orí, and a ti rí pé orí inú ó ṣe kókó. And ibi tá a dé lónìí, orí ló gbé wa débẹ̀. Wherever you are today, your head has led you there. And our guest speaker has made different illustrations. And I remember that story of Jabez. Jabez, he had no control over his situation, but he was able to rewrite his own life story. You look at it, and then when you look at it with Yoruba culture as well, name calling is very bad. When you call somebody a name, that person tends to leave that name. So, and then if you now look at it, I don't want to bear that name, you can make that decision and change your own life destiny. And I guess this is what I'm getting from this. Amo koko, onlo mo koto fe mo, not us. We have no control over where we are born or the family we are born into or the type of parents we have. But after giving birth to us, we can choose who we want to become in the future. Right. So, Adupe, and we've had so many things from everyone. People have mentioned that the head is the powerhouse of the body, which is true. It has helped us to make decisions. All decision is made up there. And we can choose, we can be deliberate in everything we do in life. We can choose to get angry. We can choose not to get angry, no matter how people annoy us. So we can actually choose to do that. So we've talked about the spiritual aspect of things. We've talked about physical aspect of Ori, and we've talked about even looking at it from a management perspective at work, in our own home. The father is the head of the family, and we're all important. So thank you, everyone. Thank you for your contribution. It is time for us to round up now. We want to say thank you to our princess. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much for coming. We appreciate you. Everybody, let us give her a round of applause, please.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Adupe. Thank you so much.
Adupe. Thank you. Thank you, Mrs. Bola Ogundeji. Thank you for attending.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Good